I was wondering, in this framework of wide versus narrow attention that you were talking about at the end of the paper, the broad, free-floating, open attention characterized, but the wide versus the narrow attention that knows what it wants, I think you said. What would we do with monomaniacal attention? So I'm thinking of the sort of attention that is not, it doesn't know what it wants necessarily, but when it finds something, laser focuses on it. I'm thinking of the protagonists of Poe's Berenice and The Telltale Heart as good examples of this. But what do we do with that kind of attention? Is it wide, is it narrow, is it something else?
I think I can only answer this in a kind of psychoanalytic way, but the kind of story that I would tell would be something like this, that initially, whenever that is, there is unorganized desire, there's sort of want, let's say. And the question becomes whether and to what extent and in what ways any individual can bear their frustration. Because if there's an extreme intolerance to frustration, one will be very quick to locate an object of desire and, as it will, have it. And in a way, what I think one of the things that psychoanalysis probably promotes one way or another is the idea that actually it's only through patient frustration, as it were, that an object of desire can really emerge, whatever really might mean in that sentence. So that an anxiety state would generate either a grasping after objects of desire that are kind of ersatz objects, or a compulsive addictive desiring. In other words, the project would be to narrow the mind in relation to desire, for fear of either the multiplicity of desire or the doubts about desire, the guilts about desire. But I think that I think the reason I use perversion in this is not, as it were, moralistically, but so much as to describe, because for me, I think a perversion would be simply, a perverse state of mind would be one in which one knew exactly what one wanted. So it would be absolutely non-experimental, and in that sense, non-experiential as well. So I think somebody, and it could be Lamb, but anyway, somebody says that the reason that Hamlet clearly isn't mad is that he's got lots of ideas rather than one. And, in a way, you could think that the extreme fixity of mind or the extreme fixity of attention would be one of the ways in which people are prone to diagnose some kind of something being very wrong with someone. Marion Milner says on Not Being Able to Paint, if you want to paint a tree in a field, look everywhere but at the tree. Because once you start looking at the tree, all you'll see is the tree. Whereas if you look at everything else, the sort of environment around it, you will then get a sense of what the tree could be. And it's a very interesting other way of looking at things, and clearly it's kind of psychoanalytic.